Hello everyone, welcome to the 16th part of the TTC webinar AWS Primer series. Today we are going to learn about a lab on AWS Autoscaling. Now I will be handing over to Jyoti.
Okay, so hi everyone. So in last session we talked about the theory of a autoscaling group. So today we'll do a lab. Again, this lab is going to be simple one because once we'll do ELB, then we'll able to understand more about autoscaling group and how autoscaling group works in tandem with the ELB. But today I thought let's give you a walkthrough of entire autoscaling thing which we studied. So before we move to the practical part, let's quickly revise what we had studied earlier. Okay, so this is going to be a quick revision and then we'll move to the actual part. Okay, so the slide which is important for us to remember is this part. Okay, so yeah. Yeah. So when we talk about the auto scaling, okay, remember you don't get charged for using auto scaling service. You'll get charged for the instances which you gets created for auto scaling, right? So auto scaling in as such is free. Okay. So you have to remember three things when we are talking about auto scaling. Is first is what, which is you specify. I'll give you a demo.
Can I ask a quick question, Jyoti? Sorry.
Yeah.
So you mean to say that the service is free, but what we pay for is the instance, that is the instances
Correct.
that we create. So that is the normal,
Yes.
based on the pricing model that we studied
Correct.
previously. Okay.
That's
And
right.
and as such, is auto scaling the only free service, or there are other services also which can be availed for free?
Yeah, code commit is one. Like whatever I have practiced, code commit, IAM, remember that is free. Okay, these things are free till now. Whatever I have used, S3 you will be charged for S3 because you are storing. Okay, so overall auto scaling, till now what I have got exposure to, and IAM, these two, and code commit. Like if you
Yeah,
create
so
a new
basically these are services, right? The
yes,
if you call it IAM, or code commit, or even auto scaling, these are primarily like different services that AWS is offering,
yeah,
and you get charged only uh, if you make a VPC, or if you have an instance created and you are trying to use the resource in terms of storage and stuff like that. Is that
correct.
correct?
In fact, for VPC also you won't be charged because you're just specifying your what do you say, the IP addresses. But in VPC, if you go ahead and launch something, you will be charged. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah. So when we talk about auto scaling, these three things, if you are clear on these three things, everything is done. First is launch configuration. So wherein you specify like, okay, now when we have to scale out. Okay. So what kind of an instance I need to make it up and running for my application? All those you specify in the launch configuration. Now question which you will get. Okay. See, you are hosting your application. Okay, now you'll have a different versions of your application, right? And we know that once you've created a launch configuration, you cannot edit it. Okay, so then how do you take care of those things? Like, okay, when a new version of your application is launched. Okay, so for that what we do is we create a new launch configuration and add it to a auto scaling group. Okay, so you can do it manually also and you can do it in an automatic way. So once we'll do the ELB part, there I'll show you like, okay, the next part of auto scaling, like, okay, how do you automatically change your launch configuration, and we'll also talk about launch template. So even auto scaling is a vast topic. If we study with ELB, it makes more sense. Okay, then second is where. Okay, so in where part is we specify, okay, I have specified what needs to be launched. Okay, like what is the name of my launch configuration, what is my security group. If you see this part, this is very similar to what you do when you launch an instance, right? So what we do, we go ahead and we do launch instance, We select the AMI, we select the instance type, which is T2 micro, we associate a key pair. Okay, user data is something which you want to be pre-installed. Okay, we specify security group, and in case your EC2 instance is accessing S3, then we add a IAM role, etc. Right? So this is same as what we do when we manually launch an instance. So same thing we specify in our launch configuration. And after that, we create a auto scaling group wherein we select this launch configuration, and then we tell what is my maximum instance which I want, what is my minimum, what is my desired capacity. Load balancer for now I won't do it, we'll do it after ELB. Okay, and health check. Okay, so everything today I'll do it manually, like manually I'll be playing with the desired capacity. Okay, but in real life, you'll be having a some say production bug, or there would be a certain situation there where the CPU high could be more than 60%. Okay, then you want to scale out. Yeah. And third is like when is okay, you've created all this thing, but when this has to come into a picture. So there are various scaling policies. For example, the one which I just talked about is the target. So you tell, okay, what is my CPU usage, what is my network in IO, okay, data disk usage, etc. So you set a alarm on those things. Okay, on those parameters, and moment you see a deviation, okay, my auto scaling group should pitch in. Okay, and then it would scale out or scale in. Okay, when scaling out, again there has to be a limit, so that limit we specify using our maximum value. Okay, because again, as I told you, you are going to be charged for all the instances which gets created. Okay, and we have a limit. Okay, see, we know, oh, there is a lot of demand, or my services are not performing, so blindly you cannot go ahead and keep on adding an instance. Could be there could be some underlying severity one issue which needs to be taken care of. Okay, yeah. So so this is what I had to cover, was just a brief recap. So those three things are the most important things. Rest everything was around there only, like, okay, you have warm up time, you have a cooling time, you have some matrices. So all those is a superset of what we just studied in those three diagrams. Okay, now let's go ahead and perform the lab on autoscaling. Okay, so if you want, you can perform with me as well. This is going to be a simple one. Okay, so the first thing, right, we need to have is AMI. Remember? Okay, let me show you just to revise. When we launch an instance, guys, see, first thing what we have to do, we have to select an AMI, right? So in case of your launch configuration also, we have to tell the AMI, right? So what we'll do is we'll create our AMI. Okay, so we'll launch an instance. I'm launching one instance. Let me take Windows 2012. Okay, okay, all this you can leave it. So user data, there was one term you would have seen. So user data is something which you want to be like when the system is up and running, if certain things you wanted to be installed beforehand, for example Java or some server, so all those things you can write it here. Okay, so moment a new instance is created, all those prerequisites would be installed. You don't have to go ahead and manually install stuff. Okay, for now I'm leaving it as it is. Okay, the storage, no tag is not required. Yeah, so we'll create security group. So ASG1. Okay. Let's do it for internet also, or all traffic. We'll do it all traffic. Okay. Review and launch. Launch. Let's create a new key pair. My ASG KP. Okay. Launch instance. Okay. instance. Fine. This is my original instance, right? So we'll create a AMI of this instance, okay, which would be used in our auto scaling group. Okay, so let this become 2 by 2. Okay, meanwhile, we can go ahead and decrypt the password, but won't be required, but still, let's just do it. Yeah, yeah. So you guys can also practice along with me because every step would say take some time. Okay, meanwhile, this is coming up. Let me show you what all is there in your launch configuration and auto scaling group. Okay, yeah. So you can launch configuration in 2 ways. Okay, we'll study later the second way, but yeah, so you name your launch configuration, so name anything, TTC, ESG, AMI. So right now the instance which I'll have created, from that I'll create a AMI. Okay, so I'll select that AMI. Okay, here, then this I had created earlier, so it's showing me. Then I'll specify the instance type. Okay, any additional configuration you want, right? If you want to associate a IAM role, you can do that. So right now we don't require any IAM role, but for example, the instance for which you are creating an image and that instance was talking to S3 for some purposes, then you have to associate the IAM role. Okay, volume, if you want any extra volume, okay, you can do that, or you can keep it default. Security group, okay, so use same security group which you had created while creating that instance. Okay, and then key pair. Okay, so we had created a key pair, right? My ASG KP. Okay, so associate that key pair and done. So this is the first part, okay, which is the what part of auto scaling. Okay, so let's see for the what part. What is the important thing we need is your AMI. Okay, and I'm creating my own AMI. Okay, so where are we on this? Yeah. Okay, so how do you create a AMI? Amazon machine image? Select this. We had done this earlier also, right? Action, image in template, create image. Okay, so this is TTC image 2. This image is being created to test SG. Okay, anything else you want? No, let's keep everything as default. Create image. Okay, so you will see that image here, AMI. Okay, so this is getting created. Meanwhile, I'll go ahead and delete my previous ones. Yeah, you can practice along with me. Okay, as you can see, it's taking a lot of time. think this should be up in some time. Okay. Meanwhile, this is coming up. Let's, in interest of time, let's revise more concepts. Okay. Which part I can discuss is, yeah. So we can discuss this part, okay, till the time. I'm just revising because that step is taking a little more time. Okay, so what are the status of your instances which gets launched as a part of auto scaling group? Okay, so we study there are two. One is your in service and second is terminated, right? So when does an instance goes into a in service mode? When there is a trigger for a scale out. Okay, so when do we want to scale out? Either the CPU usage is more than your target value, okay, or you're manually removing something and you want to add. Okay, so the first status would be pending, then the next status would be your in service. Okay, so now from in service, when it goes to terminated state, health check. Okay, so when we are going to create your auto scaling group, you'll see there would be a portion wherein you have to specify the health check. Okay, so if a health check fails or there is a request to scale in, okay, which is to reduce the number of instances, or you are removing manually removing a instance which is part of your auto scaling group. So or in all those three instances, your uh, instance which is part of your auto scaling group, it would go into a terminating state. Okay, and then if you want, you can have a intermediary state wherein if you want to perform certain actions, okay, so you can have those by writing some scripts. I see something on chat, I need to draw. Okay, okay, let's see where are we on this. Yeah, so this is available. So let me reiterate what I did till now. So we are working on the what part of auto scaling group. So what is the what part? The what part tells you what kind of an instance you want to launch during a auto scaling request, which is whenever there is a request for scale out. Okay, so for that, what is the first thing I did? I created my instance using simple step of launch instance. From that, I created my AMI. Okay, so this is my AMI which I have created from my instance. Okay, now comes the actual part, which is to create a launch configuration. Okay, yeah. So what I'll do, I'll create a launch configuration. I'll name it. This is my first LC. Now I'll see my AMI which I had created. Okay, now I'm telling, okay, what is going to be my image, okay, from which an instance would be created, but what is going to be the type. Okay, so I'll choose an instance type. So I'll go for T2 micro because that is free. Okay, anything else? Okay, so remember when I was telling you the theory about the auto scaling group, I was talking about the spot instances also. So you can have option. Okay, so when do you want to have an instance, what kind of instance you want to have, you can control it through this option as well. Okay, enable EC2 instant detail monitoring within CloudWatch. Remember, we studied that the basic monitoring you'll get, okay, and for that you won't be charged. Okay, but if you want to have detail monitoring, then you can select this, right? So now, right now we are not going for detail monitoring. Okay, any extra volume you want, like the instance which gets created, if you want any extra volume, you can add that. Okay, the security group. Okay, so I'll select my existing security group. What was the name of my security group? SG. Does anyone remember what security group I had associated?
No.
Okay, okay. SG ASG1. Okay. SG ASG1. Okay. So this is my security group. Okay. Key pair. So key pair, if you want to see what was the key pair also, we can get to know from there. Right. But I think I remember it was my key, something like that. Yeah, it was my ASG KP. My ASG KP. So now we have specified the what part. Okay. Now let's go ahead and tell auto scaling, like, okay, when this what part would come into picture, which means when I need to go ahead and launch an instance. Okay. So for that, what I'll do is I'll go to auto scaling group. Okay, so even they have given you this little bit theory, like, okay, you have to specify a minimum size, desired capacity, and a maximum size. Okay, and we know why we have to specify a maximum size, right? Because if there is any error in the script which you are creating, or there is an error in your application, and if you have not specified a maximum size, you'll have multiple instances. Okay, yeah. And this is the benefit of auto scaling, like fault tolerance. Whenever there is any unhealthy instance, so we'll create a health check, we'll create some monitor. Okay, so whenever there is any unhealthy instance, through launch configuration a instance would come up. Okay. Availability, yes. Okay, this ensures when again when we'll be studying about load balancing, we'll study, okay, if there is a lot of traffic, okay, that time also this auto scaling enables that there is a desired amount of your instances. Okay, cost, this is very important, right? Why? Because now based on demand we are launching instance. If there is no demand, why do I want to launch my instance and keep it and get charged for it? Okay, and these are the related service. So today we are just studying auto scaling group with respect to Amazon EC2. Okay, in the session after the next session, okay, so we'll study ELB with ASG. Okay, so now so go ahead and create a auto scaling group. Okay, so let's name it a TTC group. Okay, now there are two ways to select your launch configuration, either via template, okay, or using launch configuration. So we are doing it using launch configuration. Okay, now you see your launch configuration. It's my first LC. Okay, next. So take this as a default. And in availability zone, remember we studied that we should have all the availability zone because of the rebalancing and all those, right? Okay. Next. Yeah, we don't have any load balancer. Okay, see health check. Here we are not writing R in health check. This is going to be a default health check. This is same as what you get when you launch instance, right? You get 2x2 checked status. Okay, and you are specifying the time, the amount of time until EC2 auto scaling performs the first health check. Okay, so every 300 second, your ASG would be checking the health of EC2. Okay, and then if you want to have a additional monitoring, okay, so for example, if I select this, it has got more information. It'll tell you, okay, if you want additional monitoring, so you can create your CloudWatch event, etc. But I'm not going for this option. Okay, yeah, this is the part, okay, wherein you specify what is going to be my minimum capacity. So I'm saying my minimum capacity is 1. Okay, what is maximum I want to have is 4, and what is my desired capacity. Okay, it's like, okay, I'll be able to do my work with 1, but if I have desired capacity of 2, it would be really good. Okay, and then the tracking policy, target tracking scaling policy. Okay, so now see the scaling policy. it could be target tracking policy, okay, and the matrix type, average CPU utilization, the network input, the network output, okay, or something on the this part will cover later, okay. So this is the policies which you can have, okay. And what is the target value, right? So what is the value of CPU utilization after which you want to go for auto scaling, okay. So I can say, okay, when my target goes beyond 50, I want to have a new instance, okay. For now, let's just do it 20, okay. Warm up, okay. So we talked about warm up period and cool down period. So in cool down period, it was like until, so if I specify 300 as cool down period, that means in those 300 seconds, even if I'm getting a health check that okay, something is not up or something is not in a good state, I won't do anything. I'll wait for 300 seconds, okay. Yeah, and this is warm up. This is like, okay, in these 300 seconds, warm up before including in metrics. Okay, like, okay, you'll wait after 300 seconds and again, you'll start watching the health of this instance. Okay. Yeah. Any notification, right? So we studied about 4 notification. Remember, if you want that, okay, when we instance is being launched in a auto scaling group, you want a notification that you can have event for that. If your instance is getting terminated, you want a notification, or when instance was being launched it failed, or when it was being terminated it failed. If you want all these things, we can set up, but we have not studied SNS, so I'm leaving it as it is. But it's a simple, you'll get an email notification in all these 4 conditions, okay. So this I don't want. Next, tag is also not required. Yeah, you can review. So what is my launch configuration? It's my first LC. This is the VPC. This is my availability zone. Health check, I'm doing the health check for EC2. Okay, I'm just going to monitor the health check for EC2. Okay, what is my group size? Minimum is 1, desired is 2, maximum is 4. And what is it that I'm going to watch? I'm going to watch my CPU usage. Okay, see, as required to maintain average CPU utilization as 20. In short, it's saying what is it that we have to maintain? We have to maintain a CPU utilization of 20. Moment there is an increase, we'll go ahead and launch instances. Okay. Yeah. Now let me go ahead and create auto scaling group. See, before that, let me show you how many instances are there here. You've got 1 instance. Okay. Now see this. Yeah. Give it some time. Okay.
In the meantime, Parveen and Venkat, if you have any questions, then you can type it on chat or Q&A using Q&A.
Yeah. Did you guys see? We are getting 2 instances. Why 2? Because our desired was 2. Okay.
Yes.
I'll show you the part like when I delete any of the instances. Okay. Let me name it instance 2. Okay. And meanwhile, let me check. If I want to check the CPU usage, even that part I'll try to mimic. Okay, right now there's no data available. Wait, let it come up. Yes, still visualize. Overall, you see, this is simple, right? It's you're just telling the template and you're specifying the condition. when this needs to be added, right?
Yes, so just one thing I wanted to understand that so whatever desired capability we will give, so that will be in addition to the already existing instance, right?
Now,
Because
see, this is not part of ASG, Faz. I see what you're trying to. So instance
okay,
one is not a part of my auto scaling group.
okay, you just created it for to create that image, right?
Correct, correct,
Okay,
correct.
okay, understood.
Okay, let me tell you about the desired capability. Okay, this is 2 by 2. Wait, let me go ahead and terminate this. So let's imagine that some issue happened and now instance got terminated. Maybe the health check failed. Okay, this 2 by 2 check failed and my instance terminated. Okay, now what should happen? Auto scaling would go ahead and create an instance for me. Let's see whether it's creating or not. It's just that it takes some time, and that's why remember that warm up period and cool down period is very important. So you have to have them judicially. Okay, yeah. So let's wait and see what happens. Yeah, for 5 minutes, nothing would happen. After 5 minutes, this would start coming up. Yeah, give it some time. And I'll tell you how to delete also, because now you won't be able to delete, because moment you delete, a new instance would get launched, because they are part of your auto scaling group. Okay, so for that you first need to delete your ASG as go, like
Okay,
once this exercise is done, first delete your auto scaling group, the launch configurations, and then you can go ahead and terminate it. Else every time it would keep creating a new instance for you.
okay, understood.
See, now are you seeing a
Yes,
instance is launched? And why one? Because minimum what we had said, one. There should be
correct,
minimum one instance.
correct,
Okay.
understood.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now let's try to mimic the CPU usage part. Let this come up and then we'll do it. I was looking for ways. There are some I found, but let's see if they work or not. So just limit instance for. Meanwhile, let's see. Remember when we were creating launch configuration, we had two options. Either using a launch configuration which talked about AMI, and there was another option which was launch template. Let's see what is there in the launch template, just for understanding. See, here also what you do, you are selecting the AMIs only. Okay,
Okay,
yeah, it's same, but then classic or VPC security group. So two ways by which you can specify the what part of your ASG. So one is your launch template and second is your configuration. So we'll study about these also in our upcoming sessions. Yeah, let's see, where are we on this instance?
uh, Jyoti, Praveen has a question.
Okay, Praveen.
So I will read it out. So can we terminate instance 1 and nothing is running? Then also auto scaling will be
Yeah,
launched.
correct, Praveen, because instance 1 was never part of my auto scaling group. Okay. That was just for the reference. Okay. See, again, coming back to your question, if this was part of my ASG, then even if I had terminated these two, okay, then I should get only 2 instances, but I'm getting 3, right? One is instance 1 and these 2. Okay, so that means instance 1 was never part of my ASG. Yeah, let's try, guys, to mimic high CPU usage portion, right? So let me just connect to this instance 4. I found a way from one of the YouTube channel to mimic this scenario. Let's see if it works. Connect, download. Password I already have, right? I had saved. So
Yes.
the password and the key pair, which was part of instance 1, is same, right? For the new instances. Okay. So let's do RDP. Are you guys able to see the RDP?
Yes, we are able to see.
Okay, okay. Okay, let's go ahead and first see what is the CPU usage for this instance. The one, okay. Okay, there's nothing here. Okay, wait. Let's create a batch file. A.bat and save as A.bat. Kind of a loop I'm creating. Okay. Okay. So okay, let's see what is the CPU usage now. Yeah, it's 11%. Okay.
Yes.
After 20, I should see an instance here. Let me go to my EC2 instance. I keep coming back here. Okay, guys, you see 5 instances here right now. Okay. Now there is going to be increase in CPU usage. It's running in loop. Should I create multiple? Okay. Let's see. What is the value for CPU? It's still 11.1.
You can maybe create one another file.
Yeah, I think, or should I log into another instance as well? We can try that also, right? If that doesn't make, I've just logged into one instance. Let me log into the another one as well. Come on, come on, come on. Oh, it's still at 11. Okay, okay, still at 11. Yeah, Faz, let's go ahead and launch one more. Okay, I mean connect to one more.
Okay.
Yeah, let's try that. But are you guys following what I'm trying to do? I'm just trying to mimic a scenario where my CPU usage would go more than 20. Okay, so that's why I've
Yes.
created that file.
Yes.
So, and also remember, like, even if the instance from which you are going to create this ASG, you can terminate it, but make sure you keep your keys handy. Okay, because after that you won't be able to find the key. Well, let me see, is there any change here? Okay, let's see overall if it goes more than 20, or let that come up. Let me create one more.
I think we can create maybe one more batch file that might work.
Okay, okay, let me do that as well. But it's so scary.
Yes.
Not, we can't do all these things in our system.
No.
Here we know Amazon would do something. Save as dot bat. Okay. 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 Let's see. Let's see if this is able to give us what we want. No. Anything? No.
Let's see user. If it is increases, then maybe we can create one or two more batch files.
No, it's stuck at 11.1.
Okay.
Yeah. What else we can do to increase the CPU usage? Do you guys know anything which can be of use to us?
Does
Or
it
just
does it have any programs like Miss by default installed some browser or anything like? Or
no, but I can go to some browser if you want. What it should have Chrome, I guess.
okay, then open multiple tabs in Chrome.
Okay.
Yeah. For any suggestion, can we configure CPU user to 10% so that we can see?
Oh yeah. We can do that. But now see, that's a good idea. Okay, let's see.
But would it take effect? Oh, I'm not sure.
We can check, right? See, I'm not able to search also. Something has happened on this machine, but here I'm not getting a launch instance. On 4, it's not increasing. Oh, it went. See, it is 88%. Now I should have seen my instances, right? Guys, see, this is 80, right?
Yes.
Yes. So I think we should wait for another 2-3 minutes.
Now the instance is created, right?
Yes. See. Oh, it took some time, but okay. Probably the 300-second part I should have reduced to 200-second, the warm-up period.
Yeah, no issues.
So this is what I had to show you guys, like, okay, how ASG. Now, are you able to form early? There are various scaling policies. You have step up and all, but these two were something which I could mimic easily to show it to you. Okay. Now, what we need to do is, now let me tell you how we can delete all these things. Right now, if I go ahead and delete these instances from here, auto scaling would come into picture and we won't be able to delete it. Okay, so what we have to do is, okay, first let me just go ahead and terminate this. something amazing we have done today. Okay. And remember, this won't go beyond 4 instances. So after this, probably one more instance would have got launched, but that's it. Okay. So you go to auto scaling, delete the auto scaling group. Okay. Yeah. After deleting this, let me delete the launch configuration as well. Action. Delete AMI, because for AMI you are going to get charged. Okay. Though AMI is not a prerequisite, deletion of AMI is not prerequisite for deleting your instance, but yeah, let's do everything. Okay. Now instance, go ahead and delete all of them. Yeah. Okay. So this is also deleting. This is also deleting. AMI. So for today, Faz, I had only this much. In next session, we'll study about ELB, and then so next session would be a theory, and after that a practical, and there I'll do a combination of ELB and your auto scaling group. Okay, today it was just to show you on the console how ASG looks like, and how do you have auto scaling in picture, like either by just deleting the instances, playing with the desired capacity, or increasing the CPU usage.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Jyoti, for this. I would like to invite Parveen and Venkat now. So if they have any questions, they can ask directly.
Hi Jyoti, this is Parveen here. Nice, like I really joined a little bit late, but the way you have explained and the way it was going on, it was really very nice. To be frank, we are really new to AWS. So
Okay.
anyhow, like we have a little bit basic knowledge about it. So was looking into more into basic stuff. Like we were trying to go into an AWS certification. With the basic one is there. But anyhow, the auto scaling, how it happens and all those things, hands-on was really very great. So as of now, there is no questions, to be
Okay.
frank. But the way you have explained and the way it had been proceed, were really like we really liked it. I really liked it, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Praveen. So, Praveen, this is our 16th session. So we have done 15th more session. Faz would share the playlist with you, so you can go over that playlist. And every Saturday we do these sessions. So when we started this session, we started from very basic. Okay,
Okay.
and the idea is this only: like after going through this session, you can take care of 2 certifications. One is your cloud practitioner, which is like a very basic, and second is your associate solution architect. So even that you will be able to take care of if you go through these playlists. Yes, it would require some practice from your end as well, but we are giving you the foundation, the theory, and the lab. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Actually, Venkat is the one who has suggested me, like he only has gone through some way, found out like you are providing some courses like this. So he just forwarded me that. So I thought it would be at 12 o'clock. I might have joined a little bit late, but it was really very helpful, Jyoti.
Okay. Thank you, Praveen.
Thank you. That's the feedback and something from my Faisal. If you can share the recordings, it would be really, very great. I will just drop my email ID over here.
Just give me a moment. I'm sharing it right here in the chat. Just give me a moment.
Definitely.
Yeah. So Praveen, this is our channel where we have put all the recordings of all the
Okay.
sessions.
Sure. Thank you for this one.
My job is to make.
Yeah, thank you, Praveen. Thank you, Venkat, for joining today. And thank you,
Thank you,
Jyoti,
Faisal.
for the
Okay,
insightful
guys.
session. We will all meet on the next Saturday. Thank you all. Bye bye, everyone.
Faisal,
Okay.
one more thing, like what's timing is that? 12,
It's
11:30?
11:30 IST. Yes,
Okay.
11:30 MIST. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Faisal. Thank you, Jyoti. Thanks for this
Thank
Okay,
you.
one.
guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
Okay,
Thank
bye.
you.
Have a
Bye.
nice day. Bye. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.